Hi guys, this is Avalo and I'm bringing you another video here. This time what we're going to be discussing in this video is the Heart of the Swarm. I want to give some feedback to the developers because the Blizzard is actually nerfing Terran late game for Heart of the Swarm unintentionally, I believe, but they're actually nerfing the Ghost in late game for Heart of the Swarm, and I'm going to go into why that is. And I hadn't actually realized this or understood it properly until yesterday when on my stream I was playing the Heart of the Swarm custom map, and my stream viewers had actually brought it up to me in a TVP game I played against another Masters player, and they were I was sending ghosts around the map and cloaking them to go nuke bases and such, and after the game people were saying, hey, did you know your ghosts were uncloaking themselves? And I'm like, wait, what? My ghosts were uncloaking themselves? Why would... And then so then that's when I realized, like, oh my god, Blizzard is actually nerfing the Ghost unintentionally. I believe it's either unintentionally or they're trying to slip a sly nerf through to late game. But what it is in Heart of the Swarm, Dustin Browder, and Blizzard and David Kim have said either in interviews or written or video that they're changing the Ghost, the way cloak works, the cloak ability, to have a cooldown on it, so that what ends up happening is you cloak your Ghost and there's a 30-second or so timer where he stays cloaked for that amount of time, and then he uncloaks, and then there's a cooldown where he cannot recloak for another like 30 to 60 seconds, something like that. And they believe that this is going to actually make the Ghost better when it's not, because the energy, first of all, let me go into, I'm actually going to show you a real in-game example of this, but it is indeed a nerf, and I'm hoping that through this video and through hopefully people in the community, furthering this along, that Blizzard will not go through with the Ghost cloak change, and they will not nerf it. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to go in game, and I'm going to hopefully here give you guys a bit of perspective on this. So this is actually the Heart of the Swarm beta unit tester here, and what I have are a bunch of Ghosts, 2 dropships here, 2 medevacs, and so this is how the current proposed Heart of the Swarm change would work. You'll notice I'm about to cloak the Ghost, so I've just cloaked him. In the bottom of the screen you'll notice a countdown timer, a 30-second timer window, where the Ghosts enter, there's just a cooldown, and at the end of this timer, once this bar down here, if you can see where my cursor is at the bottom of the screen, once this bar reaches all the way to the end, the Ghost is gonna uncloak. So he uncloaks automatically, and then in the bottom right you'll see on the cloak there's actually a timer, which Blizzard has said they want to make 30 to 60 seconds, where the Ghost, I cannot recloak the Ghost right now, like it's actually impossible. So cannot cloak, have to wait, and then finally you can cloak the Ghost again, and there's that timer. So that's actually what the change, and the other thing to note about this change is, and why I believe it may be unintentional, that Blizzard, they may not want to actually nerf the Ghost, but they're doing it unintentionally, is once you cloak, notice that it uses, at the bottom of the screen, it uses up the initial 25 energy of cloak, but then your energy starts regenerating. That's actually different from the way the Ghost cloak currently works. If you use the cloak now, it'll keep depleting all the way down to until you hit 0 energy. So they may think that this is actually going to make the Ghost better, when in actuality it is not. And so now, for a little bit more perspective, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to launch a nuke and immediately cloak the Ghost, so we can see how much of the timer it takes for a nuke to land. So I've just cloaked the Ghost and launched a nuke here, and you'll notice the timer bar is going down, and you'll see that once it gets to 10 here, about right here, it takes 20 in-game seconds for the nuke to land. So the nuke just landed, and there's this much time remaining for the Ghost's cloak to stay, and you cannot recloak. So what that means, guys, in terms of late game, when you're sending Ghosts around the map in different locations to harass either Protoss, Zerg, or even another Terran player, when you send your Ghost out, you're going to have to send them across the entire map uncloaked, because you're only going to have enough time to land 1 nuke within the duration of that cloak cooldown. So that means you have to get there, immediately cloak and nuke, and then you have to, you know, let the nuke land. So we're gonna watch this nuke land here. But what it also means is, besides, you know, besides that, you know, the travel distance, if you want to launch a second nuke with the same ghost, he's actually gonna uncloak himself. And now I cannot recloak him. Like I can't cloak him again. So what that does is it basically gives your opponent, let's see here, it takes 20 in-game seconds for the nuke to fall. There's another 10 seconds the ghost stays cloaked. So it gives your opponent, you know, a nice amount of time to actually find your ghost and kill it before the nuke falls. So that's, after I go through the unit tester here in a moment, I'm actually going to show you a Heart of the Swarm beta game I played against another Masters Protoss player, where this actually comes into play in the meta, you know, in the meta game of actually late game Terran, where you're sending ghosts out on the map and nuking different locations. But that's not the only. That's actually not the only nerf to the ghosts that they're doing. This may be new. This actually may be new for some players, what I'm about to do, but there's the other aspect of late game Terran and nuke harassment, and I do it quite often, so I've developed this. But basically, when you're actually dropping off cloak ghosts into a base, you can actually pre-cloak them, load them into the dropship on hold fire as well, and then drop them out of the dropship still cloaked. So that means you can silently drop ghosts in a location without the ghost attacking the opponent's base, or without even being spotted if there's no detection there. So, for example, let me just show you. I'm actually going to cloak this ghost, load it in the dropship, and then I'm going to unload it. You'll notice the ghost is actually still cloaked right there. So then, with this cooldown timer, that means if you actually load the ghost up in the dropship, that means by the time you get to the opponent's base, by the time you get there and actually want to drop off your ghost, he's probably going to be uncloaked. So you just heard him uncloak there. So now I can't even recloak him. The opponent will know where the ghost is. They'll be able to stop the nuke. They'll be able to key in on your ghost and kill it. It just, you know, ghost harassment in late game is something, you know, it's something Terran players like myself and others that have started to do it a lot as well. We developed for late game. We figured it out. We learned how to play. But the way that Blizzard and Browder and David Kim are proposing to change the ghost with this cooldown change and the cooldown on the cloak is actually a huge nerf to Terran late game in terms of nuke harassment. And so, once again, you know, you can cloak a ghost, put it in the dropship, and then by the time you get there, you know, if you take more than 10 in-game seconds to get there, and then you drop by the ghost, there's no way right now that he's gonna uncloak before the nuke land, which gives your opponent time to kill the ghost or find it and see it. And you'll notice right there, still pretty close, but in a real game, let's say you're on Shakura's plateau and you're sending him around the entire map, it's not gonna work. While we're in this unit tester here, another neat trick in late game if you are sending ghosts out to nuke harasses, always, you know, cloak the ghost, hold fire, put it in the dropship, and then double EMP the dropship so that if your opponent has defensive Templars and they try and feed back the dropship, your cargo won't die in late game when your opponent does have that set up with, you know, a ring of cannons and Templar to feed back incoming drops. So that's just another tidbit I thought I would add in here. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to open up the replay of the game that I played yesterday. It's a TVP in Heart of the Swarm. I played Bio this game. So we'll get in the game here. So just going to fast forward through the game. And you'll notice this map, on big maps, you know, it's really, that change is really going to hurt Terran for when you're trying to nuke in multiple places. We'll get to the point of the game where I'm actually sending out ghosts. But yeah, like I said, I would not have even realized that Blizzard was nerfing the ghost again unless I had actually played through a TVP and used nuke harassment late game and realized it. So it's good that I had played this game and that people on my stream had alerted me, like, hey, your ghosts are actually uncloaking themselves when they get to your opponent's base. That's why he's killing them so easily. And I'm like, what? My mind is blown. So. And Bio will still be viable in TVP in Heart of the Swarm. what I tried to do this game was incorporate some use of the mines as well. I don't know how well it's gonna work, but we'll see. So almost to the point here where we start the nuke harassment. Usually, for people that are unaware, in TVP, after you have your third base up or your third base going, it's usually past the 15-minute mark in TVP is when eventually you get triple nuke silo. You'll notice. Still not at that point yet. It's usually after your 2-2 upgrades. You see, there we go. So you can see the nuke silo going up there. That's the first one. There'll be others going up eventually here. Once ghost production has commenced. The game itself, this game is not too important. I just really want you guys to see, why this is objectively a nerf to Terran late game, to Terran nuking, and to the ghost in particular. So we're almost at that stage here. There we go. Some ghosts out. So once we get to that point, I'll unpause. Alright, so here we go. You'll notice these ghosts, and for the people also that are unaware of the steps you do when you are going to harass a base, usually what you'll do is you'll send out ghosts on the map, and if you want to be risky, you'll wait until you get a certain distance across the map to cloak your ghost and then send him in, so that makes it less likely your opponent will spot the ghosts. So along with explaining, along with this video explaining that Blizzard is possibly unintentionally nerfing the ghosts, you'll also learn how to nuke harass in this video as well. But you usually send them out, and then you cloak them on the way to their destination, as well as rally point them, and then you hopefully get them into a position where they can launch their nuke. So you'll notice these ghosts, you can actually see the cooldown timer here on top of the ghost's head, as well as right here. You'll notice this ghost actually walks by their army, and the cooldown timer is almost up. Like, if that cooldown had actually run out and I had run into the army, the ghost is dead, nuke harassment it's over, it didn't even start. Same thing with this ghost. You'll notice he's getting to a destination, and then you'll notice right here I nuked, because once again I was unaware that they would uncloak themselves. And then he uncloaks! The ghost actually uncloaks during the game. Look where his army is. I can't recloak this ghost. There's that cooldown once again. That change does not make the ghost better. It's not a change at all. It is blatantly, you can 100% from the analysis I'm making here, you can call it a nerf. It's a nerf to Terran late game, to Terran nuking. So speed this up here. It also hurts like stuff, positional nukes, defensive nukes, offensive nukes. You'll notice once again I just sent out a fresh ghost that had about 100 energy. I cloaked him, and I pre-cloaked him, sending him out to the destination where I want to nuke. And the opponent can see this one, but once again, this ghost actually uncloaked himself, so the opponent can see that ghost 100%, regardless of I don't think he was in cannon range, but now he sees the ghost. He's like, I'm just gonna fucking kill it. That's easy. So the ghost there already died. You see the Templar has 1 kill, and you'll notice right here, once again, I had sent out another ghost to nuke this ghost right here. I launched the nuke, and he's going to uncloak, and the opponent, let's go to his vision. And you have to keep in mind, for Terran to send out multiple ghosts, to micro their army, to macro their production, everything else on top of sending out different ghosts, shift clicking them out of the control groups, it requires multitasking on the Terran's part, which is skill based, and it also requires multitasking on the Protoss, Zerg, or Terran opponent player's part to be able to find the ghosts and stop the harassment. So you'll notice, let's look at my opponent's vision. He's looking for where the nuke is, and then you'll notice that he actually sees the green dot on the mini-map there, if you see where my cursor is, and then he moves his army back. So, actually just kills the ghost before anything happens. And the nuke did not land. So that's another one that did not land because of the change, because even though you know, he didn't take a screen there. He may not have actually seen the ghost, but he killed the ghost anyways because it was not cloaked. It could not cloak again. So the nuke did not land and do what it could have done in late game. Once again, we have another ghost that I had sent down on cooldown. So what this means obviously is if you're going to send out ghosts to nuke harass, you're gonna have to send them out across the map, the entire length of the map, visibly to your opponent. Where if they see them, they just can kill it, and then by the time you get there, like I showed in the unit tester, you're only going to be able to launch one nuke within the time span you have. So yeah, that ghost is dead. Should die in a second here. Dead ghost. So that's really the you know, the main point that I wanted to get across is that nuke harassment is being nerfed. That it's something that Terran has in the late game. Out of, you know, the few options and things that we do have to that we can make work in the late game, that's, you know, that's one of those things that still has, you know, we still have it. If Blizzard's going to nerf it, that's, you know, that's a little too much, I believe. And once again, just to reiterate, this may be unintentional. They may think that they're making the ghosts better, but they're not. This is objective analysis. It's a nerf. So hopefully people will see this video, spread the word. Hopefully the developers will see this feedback and realize that it's not a good change to the unit. It's a nerf. Don't need any more Terran nerfs. So yeah, I believe that's all. So this video was just about that. Gave you some tips as well for the Terrans that are watching that, you know, wanted to learn, you know, what nuke harass was in late game and how to use it. But yeah, so spread the word, guys, and hopefully they'll change it, and they won't go through, or hopefully they won't go through with a change like that. That's, you know, that affects something for Terran late game so much. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Leave comments definitely in the comments below. And yeah, so thank you for watching. That's all I need to say here. Bye bye. Peace.